Hey Wallace, this is James. I'm going to go over the customer and how to add them to an invoice and what that all looks like so they show up on the receipt. So first, go ahead and launch the CashFootprint software. And when you start a transaction, you can just make sure that the cursor's in here. You see it flashing. Just scan a barcode or an item. That will add it to the list. And then you can also start by just clicking this icon here, apply customer to transaction. You should see this. When you click on that, what you can do is most people will use a phone number for the customer number. That way when they come in, you'll just say, hey, what's your phone number? And you can type it in. So in our case, 651-691-4534, hit enter, and it's not available because I haven't come into this store before. So I would say, yes, I want to add it. It will default the number in there that you put in. And I'm going to go ahead and just put my name in here, and then the company. That's optional. Just make sure you give it a name and any other information you want. So if you're putting an address on the receipt, you'll want to put that under main address. Phone number, email, you can put that in there if you want to as well, and then click Save. That will then add the customer to the transaction. If you want to remove it, say you've added the wrong person for whatever reason, you can click the minus. So remove the customer. It's the same button, it just flips back and forth. So 651-691-4534. That will add me if I exist. And if I goof up, I can just click the remove and it will take it off of the transaction. If you're having trouble finding somebody or they don't remember their customer number, you can use the search. So you click on search and you can find a particular person, say that they changed their phone number. So you could search by their old phone number using the customer number up here. You can also search by name or company or part of the address, phone, email, that type of thing. So when you find it, if you need to change the address or any of the details, once you find it, you can come down here, highlight it, come down here and hit edit. And you can change any of these. Let's just get rid of company name. Let's throw an address in here. 455 South, number 601, Dinah, Minnesota 55435. Okay, and then I'm going to hit save. So that updated my information. You can see it over here as well. It's got the address, all that good stuff. Okay, now if this is the person that I want, which it is, I'm going to highlight it and hit select. And that will bring it into the sale. So now it's applying them to the sale. From here, if you want to change the information, you can do that as well. So let's say somebody comes in, 651-691-4534, and you say, oh, okay, hi, James, you're on France Avenue. They say, yep. If they say no, it's like, oh, let's update your address. You can come in here and click Edit Customer. So you click on this customer menu and choose Edit Customer. You can then change the address, put in the new address if that's what you need to, and then go back to the sale. So that's how you add a customer to the sale. Once they're there, I am going to just double check my settings here. So let's go to the Tools menu, go to Options. This is how we're going to determine what information shows up on the receipt. We're then going to click Receipt/Hardware. And on the right-hand side over here, you'll see Customer Receipt Options. You can show the name, the address, any loyalty points or balances that they may have. You can show those on the receipt. That all looks good to me. It's going to show their name and their address on the receipt. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit cash and just cash this out. Done. And then I'm going to close that. So continue. Now if we go back, that automatically should have printed a receipt with the information on it, and it will look just like this. So if I go to history, you'll see customer number, it's got the name and address on there. If you want to do a full page, you can print full page or preview. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to do a preview just for the sake of this example, and it will have their information right there at the top. So now the next time they come in, you just type in their phone number, hit enter, and you don't have to do anything else because they're already in the system. Okay. If you want to always print a full page receipt, go up to Tools, go to Options. You'll then click on Receipt/Hardware. Click on Receipt Printer. And this one, highlight and delete that. So this is my full page Brother printer that I have. You can click add if you don't have anything in there. I'm going to edit. This is the same screen. You can just give it a description. You can put receipts, invoices, whatever you want in there. It's just a friendly description where you can identify it with. If it's going to be a full page printer, like an 8.5 by 11, you'll go ahead and choose full page Windows printer. Choose your printer. And print receipt on demand. This function is basically for saving paper. So if you check this, it will not print automatically. You will need to hit the reprint receipt button in order for it to actually print. So when you ring out the transaction, you can say, oh, do you want a receipt? If they say no, you just hit continue. If they say yes, you hit reprint receipt, and it will go ahead and print it again. And you can show the price savings on there. So basically, if you do a markdown, say an item is normally $9.99, and you're going to give them a discount, and now it's $6.99, it'll show a savings of $3 on the receipt. Once you've got those options set, you hit OK. If you wanted to do like a regular receipt printer, I'm going to do call it small receipts, whatever. And I'm going to use either the POS or Epson or the ESC POS option. And then I'm going to choose my thermal receipt printer. That's the little 3-inch wide one. I'm also going to do print on demand because I don't want to waste paper on that one. And then print a merchant receipt. This is basically a double receipt. So if you have a separate credit card machine, you can uncheck this because you're not going to need that. Same for the other one, the full page. Actually, I don't know that that's an option for that one. I'll double check. You can do cutting. You can do different formatting, show savings on that one. You can show a barcode at the bottom of this one. Once you have those settings set, go ahead and click OK. One thing to note is if you do POS or Epson, you're going to need to select a font. The best font that I've found is Lucida Console, I think it is. Right here, Lucida Console. Choose that, and then like an 8, something like that for size. That will be a pretty good one if you end up using that specific selection for the driver. If you do ESC POS, doesn't let you set it, which is fine because it has a fixed font that it always uses. So click OK to save that. I'm going to go back to this full page one and just double check. It does have the print a merchant receipt option. So typically you would uncheck that if you have your own credit card machine that is external to the point of sale. So if it's not integrated, uncheck that because you're going to get a receipt from that small machine anyway. You don't need a duplicate. So uncheck that. Once you have those set, I delete this one because I don't need it on my system. Once you have those, that is pretty much it for adding a customer to a transaction. If you're going to do accounts receivable, where somebody will do a down payment, that type of thing, I'm going to put a link in the description to that video. But what you will need to do is go to the Tools menu and then Options, and click on the Business tab and make sure you have AR account turned on. Otherwise, the other video is not going to make much sense. So go ahead and turn this option on if you want to do charge accounts for your customers. They can come in, do a down payment, and then come back later and make another payment. That the video in the description will go over that. But that's how that would be done. So just make sure you check that option if that's something you want to do. If not, totally disregard it. So if you want to require a customer every single transaction, you can do that from this screen here as well. It is called Ask for Customer when starting transaction. And I'll show you what that looks like. So click OK there. I don't have a transaction going. You can see because there's no verbiage over in this area. If I go ahead and ring up an item, boom, now I am starting a transaction and it asks me if I want to assign a customer. I say yes. And I'm going to choose myself. And now I'm added. You can always tell you're in a transaction because the void button will be there. And you'll also see this verbiage over here. What type of transaction? What's the status? Because if you were to just come and void this, like this, if you just, not void, but if you remove that, you remove the customer, it looks very similar to just starting fresh. But in fact, because you have the information over here, you're in a transaction already. So some folks will do that if like a customer walks in and says, oh, never mind, I'm not going to buy it, it's too much, or whatever. Rather than voiding it and wasting a transaction number, because this is the transaction number here, 89. If I void this, 89 becomes a voided transaction. So if I look in history, there you see it's voided. That's a transaction 89. Now when I start the next one, it's going to be 90. No, I don't want to add a customer. So now the next transaction is 90. So it will consume a transaction ID number when you do a void. So keep that in mind as well. That's about it. So if you have any additional questions, feel free to let me know, and I am happy to help out. Thanks, Wallace.